When it comes to mass transit, Kansas City has a rich history marked by pride and innovation. First, with a horse-drawn railroad. Later, cable and streetcars. By the turn of the 20th century, Kansas City had the third largest cable car system in the country, next to Chicago and San Francisco. By the 1920s, a complex system of cable and streetcars and trolley buses connected downtown with the growing communities of Independence, Kansas City, Kansas, and downtown Overland Park. Whether you wore a pair of overalls or a suit and tie, your mode of transportation was the same. As our automobile culture advanced, the local transit system followed suit, with a transition to the rubber tire bus. The last Kansas City streetcar line closed in 1957. Today, the local Kansas City transit system still relies exclusively on the bus as the primary means of public transportation. 3 local providers operate the current system: the Kansas City Area Transportation Authority, Johnson County Transit, and Unified Government Transit serving Wyandotte County, Kansas. In recent years, local and national trends in transit development, coupled with rising gas prices, environmental concerns, and the need to provide efficient transportation alternatives, have raised questions about the future of transit. Is it time for transit in Kansas City to once again evolve?
Well, I think what we've heard over and over from citizens is they want more services. They want buses to run later. They want to be able to move further around the region. They want to be able to take a bus ride from Independence to Village West or from Olathe to the airport.
I think that the concern for our city to be a viable city and to be a city that when people come, they find a system that they can really use.
It's no one's problem. It's everyone's opportunity.
Communities across the country invest in transit for many reasons. The increase in mobility with a well-developed public transit system gives commuters more options for getting to work, provides residents and visitors more ways to travel to key destinations, and offers independence to elderly or disabled citizens and those who lack access to personal transportation.
The bus system is, I would argue, it's anemic now. It's not, the size and strength that it ought to be. It carries 15 million riders a year. 90% of those riders are going to work or to school. Most of them are transit dependent. If we throw them off the bus, we throw them out of work.
A lot of people have to understand that it's more than just people going to shop, It's more than just folks riding around. I don't think people tend to realize the impact of transit if it doesn't impact you in your everyday life.
Access to jobs and employees is crucial to economic development in cities. Transit helps link workers to employment centers and offers an expanded labor pool to companies.
There's a real problem for us getting people to jobs. Affordable housing is an issue, and without a public transportation system, it's very hard to get people reliably there.
As a city with 332 square miles, with 440,000 people, a lot of your economic development growth is occurring in the outer perimeter. Transportation is adequate for the urban core. The further out you go, the worse it gets. And the irony is the further out you go, the more jobs you have.
We have created a couple things in Johnson County that take people back and forth to work, and anytime we make something route-specific to a particular need, we really get results. So I don't think people are anti-transportation. We just have to decide what the needs are and how we're going to fill them.
Public transit also influences the city's growth pattern. It can promote redevelopment and greater density and foster walkable neighborhoods that are focal points for economic and social activities. Transit lines bring people and money wherever they travel, often resulting in increased business sales and property values.
Our region is fragmented and spread out. Light rail and an excellent regional transit system would increase density and bring us together. People tell me now, well, we don't have enough density. Well, we're never going to have enough density if we don't build an excellent transit system.
Transit relieves congestion on regional roads and highways. Each year, $570 million in productivity is lost while Greater Kansas City's workforce sits in traffic.
We talk about our quality of life and how cheap it is to be here. Well, the cost of gas is slowly eroding our cost of living. Our cost of living creeps up the more money people got put in their gas tank. and particularly to do something as simple as getting to and from work.
Well, I think in addition to the gas prices going up, I do think there's a lot more concern for the environment. I think that this climate change issue has created interest and awareness, I think, is the main thing.
A single bus or other mass transit vehicle can replace up to 60 cars, reducing the need to expand costly roadway infrastructure. By taking cars off the roads, public transit improves air quality by reducing greenhouse gases, which contribute to smog. But mass transit does more than clear the air. It also reduces the amount of pollutants that settle on roadways, which run off during rainfalls into the region's rivers and streams.
I think that we're going to face the same issue many communities do in terms of worsening air quality, worsening traffic congestion. I don't believe anybody thinks that gasoline prices are going to go back down to $1.50 a gallon or below. And as a community, we're going to have to wake up and say at some point transit's a priority.
The considerable benefits of transit have prompted peer cities like Denver, St. Louis, Minneapolis-St. Paul, and Dallas-Fort Worth to continue expanding robust public transportation systems in their regions.
I think if you look across the country at successful transit systems, the vast majority are multimodal in nature. They have bus options, they have a variety of different types of bus services, including BRT, but many, if not most, also have a light rail component.
I went to St. Louis, went on the airplane, got on the train, rode to downtown. It cost me like $1.50, you know. Rode back, got all my bags and everything. But then it was very amazing to see these buses coming to pick people up. They would exit, and all those folks were going to different places to go to work.
A great, robust bus service that supports rail and vice versa, I think, is what makes the most sense for the Kansas City region in my mind.
There's no reason that a community of nearly 1.9 million people couldn't and can't support a light rail line that serves as sort of a spine for a regional transit network is certainly feasible in this community.
I think that there is some challenge to that, but I think the opportunity is great, and I think we do have good examples of how that can be done, and we certainly have to craft it to a place where it makes sense for the Kansas City region.
What we need to do here is look at a funding mechanism that is broader than what we currently enjoy, so that there are more communities brought in than just the city of Kansas City, Missouri.
I believe that the entire metropolitan area would benefit from a regional system.
I do think it starts with dialogue and having great discussion, particularly from those folks that are users of the system, but also those folks that aren't using transit right now, but I think have a good understanding and a good knowledge base about what the needs and potentials can be. We need to hear those voices.
Clearly, the need for expanded transit service in the Kansas City region is on the minds of many citizens. A November 2006 light rail ballot initiative approved by voters in Kansas City, Missouri, is helping to fuel this dialogue.
I think there is probably more community discourse on and interest in public transit than any time since I've been here, and from talking around the community, I think it's probably at a high for the last couple of decades. So I think this is a very good time to be having these conversations in the community.
Is light rail feasible in Kansas City? Where should it go? How can we pay for it while also supporting strong bus service?
I think you can beat this thing to death, and we'll be sitting here 20 years later talking about shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Across the metro area, counties and communities are looking at the opportunities that transit may bring. Johnson County has released a 5-year strategic transit plan. In Kansas City and Wyandotte County, new rapid bus lines are being planned, and local operators are looking for opportunities to expand successful commuter services.
And the desire is to work together with folks to develop a plan that they've had input in and they're comfortable with and they like. I'm pretty confident that we all want the same things.
I think people are very much interested in figuring out and seeing transit as something that's a regional issue that we can solve together.
If we don't come up with some sort of metropolitan transportation program, whatever you want it to be, however it happens, if it's a combination of things, it's one thing, whatever it is, in the next 5 years, and we aren't planning and have a definite plan and are putting it in place by the 5th year, we're no longer competitive with those metropolitan areas that we benchmark ourselves against and look for business, and so then we will cease to grow. And I think when the time comes and people see that, realize that, everybody will be on the same bus, so to speak.
The Mid-America Regional Council is in the process of updating the Smart Moves Regional Transit Plan, which provides a bi-state vision for coordinated transit service. You can help us guide the ride. What are your thoughts on the future of transit in the Kansas City region?